Hi there, I'm Helen Potts and I'm the Children's and Families Minister at St James's Church, Clitheroe, and I've had the privilege of serving in this role for 5 years.
Hello, I'm Lucy and I'm the Youth Minister at St James's Church. So I work alongside Helen, but working with the slightly older ones in the church. And I've been here since February, so I haven't been here nearly as long as Helen, but I have been working with young people since I was about 13 years old. So that's about, I don't know, a long time. And I just love working with them and I'm really excited to be here.
I don't think we'll start talking about how long I've been working with children. It's a very long time. Nearly goes back to dinosaurs. Anyway, we're here today because we have been given the privilege and the honour to talk to you and share with you some of what we are doing with the youth and with children and families, and to just share a little bit of what God is putting on our hearts for where we go from here. So I'm excited. How about you, Lucy?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be able to actually just share with the church and the wider church community about what I'm hoping to do and see God do over the time here at the church. Because actually, I haven't had much opportunity to even really introduce myself to many people. So this is really good, Helen. I'm really, really looking forward to being able to do this today.
So, you've only been here since February, Lucy. So what has it been like for you since February?
Well, it rained for the first however many weeks. It didn't stop. And then it was really hot. And everybody kept telling me that none of that was normal weather. I'm apparently still to experience normal weather for Clitheroe. But actually it's been really, really good. I was made to feel really welcome. Even before I was here, we popped up a couple of times and everybody made us feel really welcome. It's been really fantastic meeting some of the young people. I haven't actually met all of them. In fact, today I've got an email from two who are hoping to be involved in some of the youth work, and I haven't actually met those two yet. So it's still really exciting in lots of ways.
So what would...
Great. Yeah.
Sorry, interrupting you there. But what I was going to say was, what has been the best and the worst things since you've started, would you say?
The best things have been meeting all the amazing young people that I've met so far. They're really lovely. They're so amazing. And that is such a credit to you, Helen, because most of them you've known as children, to Joe, who has done an amazing work before I got here, really, really good, and to the church, and of course to their parents, because they are just fantastic. They're so kind, they're just full of so much attention when you're talking. They're really, really great young people. So that's been a real highlight, is just walking in and feeling like the young people have just really welcomed me and made me feel really accepted straight away. So that's been, I think, one of the best things. Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
So Helen, question for you, because obviously you've been here a lot longer, but you've probably never had to do children's families ministry in the kind of climate that you find yourself. I'm not talking about the heat, although that might be unusual as well, I've heard. But with lockdown, actually, how has lockdown influenced how you see the work that you do with the children and families?
It's interesting because obviously it has. You can't have something like lockdown, something as, well, the word is unprecedented, isn't it? So you can't have something as unprecedented as lockdown and it not affect how you do things or affect your vision. And I think as we started off in lockdown, the one thing I was so sure of, and the one thing I prayed and I talked to God about, was that I didn't want to go into this unprecedented time and come out unaffected and come out without my vision being changed if it needed to be changed. Because I feel that one thing I would really, really want to get from this time is that from this pause from the normal routine, it's not a pause because I'm busier than ever, but from this pause from the normal routine, that there might be changes if changes are needed, that there might be little nudges and little a slight remolding of activities and a chance for God to say, oi, try this. I really, really wanted that to be something that came from all of this. And I am feeling that nudge and that poke, so that is really good. But also, I think one of the main things that I've felt and gained and been influenced from in this time is the importance of the one-to-one relationship, and the importance of relationship, because I think in our posts we get busy with events and we get busy with meetings, so we have our regular timetable of midweek meetings and Sunday meetings and maybe once a month meetings and routine things that people expect us to do, and actually sometimes all of those involve quite a lot of people, and maybe in that quite a lot of people you don't get the one-to-ones so well. And the beauty I'm finding of this lockdown is to have that little bit extra time. I've started going door to door and visiting some families who I sometimes see at meetings, and I'm chatting to them on the doorstep, perhaps blessing them, taking a few activities and then chatting with them and asking them how can I pray for them. And it's such a blessing to do that.
Well, that's really good. I think that's such a positive way to look at it, rather than, you know, some people would just go, well, we can't do anything now, and shut down, but actually say, well, what is God saying to me in this time? Like, is there things that God wants me to change or adapt or alter or drop or pick up? It's just really, really good, you know, to hear that your vision hasn't just stopped because the building's shut, but your vision is growing even and thriving in that sense. So that's really, really positive. Yeah.
So I would say to you, so talking about vision, what would you say? So you're really at the start of your role, which is so exciting for us at St James's. It's really exciting for me as the children's minister. But what would you say you want to see for the youth, for the young people in the church?
I think that's a really good question, and something that I was asking myself even before I arrived. It's really interesting actually. Before I left my previous post, and I've been there for nearly 12 years, God like almost switched off vision for that work. He went, this isn't your work anymore, it's time to move on. But what he did do was, when Mark phoned me up and said we'd like to offer you the position, is he switched on a vision for Clitheroe, even though I didn't have much experience of it then. And one of the things that
I like that metaphor. I love that metaphor of the switch coming on and off. Carry on.
But it was literally like that. I mean, for 12 years, you know, I'd been the work in Hastings, which I'm still really passionate about, but I was constantly coming up with ideas, let's do this, and God just went no, and I was like, I can't solve anything. But then he switched on, and instantly I was like, oh, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this, it'd be amazing. But one of the things I really, really want to see with the young people in the church is to see them leading, to see them not just being spectators at church, but being part of the running of it, helping them to get involved. So if you ask any of them, they already know, all the ones that have met me know that I constantly remind them that church is not a cruise ship. It is a battleship, and we have to take up our position. And we might find that our position is simply serving the tea and coffee, which, if ever you've been on the tea and coffee rota, is not simple at all. No, it is actually incredibly complicated.
I have much appreciation for the tea and coffee rota. I love my cup of tea.
It's so important. And yet quite often we sort of lower it down, but actually just being involved, doing what they can do to see the church function. Yes, just there's so many things they can be doing. But then, you know, I'm going to say right up to, but I don't mean because anything is more important than anything else, but in our heads we often have these sort of hierarchy, don't we, of jobs that we do. But even things like, you know, can we get them to help other people understand about Jesus through, you know, their understanding of the Bible and stuff. So I want to see the young people really actively involved. I know we've discussed about the young people being more involved with helping out with the children as well. I say helping out, but you know what I mean. I don't mean standing around.
Thumbs up, Helen.
But being actively involved as sort of the children's mentors, because they're the ones they're looking up to. So that's what I want to see. And then I want to see them, once they've got a grasp of their role within the church, because they're the church of today, not tomorrow, to then see them being willing and up for going out and changing the Clitheroe community as well.
Definitely.
So that's kind of where I'd like to get them. is up to the transforming cog, as we have at St James's. We have the cog.
Yeah. I love that. It's so exciting, and I look forward to working alongside of you and welcoming the youth as mentors and as role models to the children. It'd be wonderful.
Well, you know, in response to that, what is your vision? Like, what do you want to see with the children, the families in the church, you know, going into the future? Maybe, like you were saying, maybe it's changed a little bit or altered or been remolded. So what is it now that God has put on your heart for them?
I think sort of like through this lockdown with our live Sunday worship and our video edited Sunday worship, I think one thing that has excited me and I've absolutely loved is the way that families and children have taken a much more active role in leading Sunday worship. It's been great to have them doing the Bible readings, having them doing the prayer. That has been brilliant, and just to see the photographs of them doing family faith at home has been really exciting. And I think what families and children have really brought to Sunday morning worship has been a creativity, a dynamism, a dynamic quality anyway, and just real energy that I would love to see carry on after this, because you know the parents are the disciples of the children, and the children are awesome, and that makes for a great team. And I think what a great way of discipling your children, but to plan some sort of worship activity, to plan a prayer time together. I mean, give a family the job of, as you did, leading prayers at church, and the parents and the children talk it through together. Wow, what a brilliant way of, first of all, connecting with God together and allowing God to change you together, and then you go and lead the prayers at church. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And I would love to see families carry that on Sunday mornings. But also, before this lockdown, I was thinking of ways of other family congregations that we could perhaps start that would allow families that don't come to church, that don't connect with church, to connect with church, and not just in the way of being blessed and having a nice time, but actually coming to the church, connecting with the church, and then connecting with God. And I would love to see something like maybe a family cafe church that our families lead and our children lead. And I think that style of something is open for the children and the families to lead. And I think this is the other thing that I would love to see, is our church children stepping up and using their gifts, and to be empowered to use their gifts and empowered to use their creativity in leading others in worship and leading others in prayer and leading others to connect with God, and then changing themselves. Not them changing themselves, but allowing God to change themselves, and then being transformers, being agents of transformation out in the community. I would love to see children do that, and I've already praying about how when we do eventually get back in the building, perhaps before that via video, because I know that the kids love using videos and love videoing themselves. I hate seeing myself on here, but the children love seeing themselves. So that's brilliant. So use them to make services, use them to lead service, to lead worship, to lead God time. That's the next step, I feel, of what God is asking me to do, is empower these, for him to empower these children and for us to use them in their giftings.
Be amazing, absolutely amazing. It's so exciting.
I am so excited. And I know you are, and I think our two roles are working together on that, aren't they? Because with the youth, we want to empower them, we want them to lead. They can be role models for the children. We were already talking about maybe the youth leading stomping on a Sunday morning and things like that. And rocking, we love having the youth come and lead rocking. So you know, so many jobs for them to do. There's no cruise ship for them. That's absolutely sure.
That's it. You're gonna make them work. They've got to earn their squash.
They certainly have, and their Haribo, and their biscuits. Definitely, no freebies around here. So that's, I suppose, like our church kids and our church youth. But then there's the other half of our job, the community, the school, Ribblesdale School, Bowling School, there's the community out there. What would you say you want to see for the young people out there, the young people who we know Scripture Union are telling us that 95% of under 18s never come to church?
Yeah. And that is a really big challenge, you know, where are young people on a Sunday morning? And we know even from our church young people and children, there are so many pools now, and they've got their opportunities to do sports and things are so limited, and often are limited to a Sunday morning. And so, you know, which do you go to? And so actually getting young people from non-church families to any sort of church connection is even harder. So for schools and communities, you know, I want to be out in the community. Obviously we need to support our church young people, but I want to see young people coming in and actually engaging with what's going on, but not just them coming to us, but us taking Jesus to them. So, for instance, you know, one of the things I've talked about is with Justin from the skate park, and, you know, once that, obviously it's shut at the moment, which is really annoying, because when I arrived, I was waiting for it to stop raining so I could go and hang out at the skate park and talk to the young people, and now it's been lovely weather, but it's locked. But to going down there and meeting with the young people are down there, you know, once a week, taking them hot chocolate, getting to know them, but then having things that we're doing that we can invite them to. So one of the things that I know we've discussed and we're hoping to put in place is like a sort of slightly older rocking, so that the rocking children, when they move up to secondary, they don't just get lost, but they have that continuation to explore faith and to learn more about God. Because some of them, before they reach that point of age, they're not quite ready yet to move into a more formal, structured church environment. And so allowing them a little bit longer to sort of deal with that is good. With schools, I was already making contacts with Ribblesdale. We were discussing some things we were going to do. My history is that I was a team leader for a trust in Hastings doing schools work. Schools work is very big on my heart, because that's where young people are. They spend most of their time in school, and yet it's also one of the most stressful situations for them to be in. So if we can go there and be that safe place, those safe people, we can help them during their busy day, to give them, for instance, prayer space time. That's something I used to do a lot of. I love prayer spaces, but not a prayer space necessarily in the church, although that's good, but taking a prayer space to the school. Start where they are, not expecting them to always come to us, although it's great if they come to us as well. Things like drop-in clubs, potentially mentoring, just getting in and supporting those students and supporting the staff as much as we can as a church. But then also in the community, you know, I'd really love to do some sort of youth club thing so that they can come in. We can have the ones in that maybe, and I know this will scare quite a lot of people, that maybe no one else will ever want. Because Jesus always took the ones that no one else ever wanted. And I think, you know, that is who we should be as Christians. We should be wanting to bring in those people who other people despise, because that's what Jesus did for us. You know, he takes us in however we are. So having an opportunity for them to come, to have fun, to be in the church in a non-formal environment, so it's not threatening to them, but so that we can build relationships and we can have those opportunities to talk about Jesus with them, and for them to ask us questions, and for them to challenge what we believe, and say, well, actually, what about this that happened, and what about that? So I want to be out there. I want young people to know who I am when I walk down the street, but not just me. I want them to know the other people that serve in the youth team. You know, when they're out getting their shopping, and saying, hey, you help at St. James is doing this, don't you? Because that's more positive role models in their life, when lots of young people are struggling for grown-ups who they can trust, and who they can talk to. So that's kind of where I would like to see sort of we take youth work into the community, just meeting them, like Scripture Union. You know, that I was working for a Scripture Union local mission partner, and the 95 campaign was completely indoctrinated into us, whether we wanted to be part of it or not. But it's an amazing campaign of reaching the 95. I mean, 95. That is a huge percentage. Only 5%. of young people and children have any connection with church. Like,
yeah,
5%, that is nothing, absolutely. And yet, most of our ministry goes towards that 5% who are already in the flock. And we need to be looking at the 95 who have never heard about Jesus. So that's kind of where I'd really love to take our community work and our schools work. Hopefully when lockdown ends, we'll be able to get on with that a bit more. Yeah. And what about you, Helen? So that's sort of young people in the community. What about children and families?
Well, I'm nodding my head to everything you've said, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. You know, we are agents of transformation, aren't we? We've been given this amazing mission by Jesus, and we've been told, step into my shoes and go and tell the world and be my witnesses. And so to me, that is to go and tell them who Jesus is and to go and show them his love, isn't it? And it's for everyone. It is not just those who come into the building. And certainly this year, since January, God has been speaking to me again and again and again about leaving the building and going out there and sort of going and telling and going and being a love bringer and a hope bringer to those who never come into the building. And sort of, first of all, there were these words that I kept getting, and sort of like a nudge came in the 24/7 Lectio readings I was doing about the fact that Jesus was always demonstrated hospitality, but he didn't do it by inviting everyone to come round to his house for tea. He went to other people's houses for tea, and he went out in the community, and that is where he went. And so hospitality, the hospitality of Jesus goes out, and the hospitality of Jesus goes out into the community. And God is saying to me, go out there. Fantastic. Take me out there. Go and be hospitable out there in my name.
Yeah.
And that nudge comes again and again. And so then, you know, I know about the 95 campaign, but then I read it again, and it hits me again that there's just this 5% who engage with church. And there's Church of England primaries as well, because like St James's Primary does a great job with their prayer spaces and their assemblies. They are fantastic. So I know that the children who go there really get to hear about Jesus and about God being with them. So that is wonderful, and I'm part of that, and I'm proud to be part of that. But then when I went to Kenya this time, there's this amazing thing called Awana. Now Awana won't transfer here, but the principle of leaving the church, going out into community space and doing Sunday morning kids church out in the community. Fantastic. Now the great thing in Kenya is you don't have health and safety policies and you don't have safeguarding. I shouldn't say the great thing, because obviously safeguarding is a really important a wonderful thing for protecting children. But they crossed a main road in front of oil tankers. They had no parental, and they just went down to the community. They played games, kids came to join the fun. There was a gospel message, and then all the kids from the community who joined in, without their parents knowing about it, came back to the church for porridge. Obviously, there's slight changes to how we can do that, but it's that principle yet again of hospitality being out there and not in the church building, or starting out there and then coming into the church building. And I think over the last 5 years, there's been lots of hospitality in the building, and I've had a wonderful team of people who've helped me do stuff. But now I want to carry on doing so much of that. But what I want to do is make sure I go out and I chat to the people and I build relationships up even more so with the people out there. So it's looking and saying, God, who needs hope? Who needs help? Who needs love? Who's heartbroken out there in the community? How can you use me? How can I be Jesus to these people?
I feel that's so important. It's so important. You know, just going out and being with them, you know. And taking Jesus with you. Oh, it's brilliant, Helen. That's really exciting.
So I haven't really said what I'm going to do, but I've said.
But it's in that direction.
So anyway, I've just talked loads about that. But what would you say how can people support you in what you're going to do? Because you've described some amazing stuff. How can people support you doing that?
Well, I mean, there's three things that I'm really used to saying about how people can support any sort of type of ministry. The first is prayer. Like, we need prayer. We need people to specifically pray for the work that's going on with young people, whether it's in schools or in the community or in the church. We need those young people lifted in prayer, and we need the opportunities and the safety and all those important things lifted in prayer. The second is resources. We need resources. Now, obviously, we sort of get resources by, you know, using money from the church, which is fantastic, but there is always need for more. There is always need to get more and more things, or to buy more hot chocolates or whatever. So, you know, just knowing that people are willing to say, right, there's some money, or there's some paper, or there's some pens, or, you know, can you use this? And having it ring fenced, this is for the young people, this is theirs, is brilliant. So, you know, when we get back in, if you're someone and you'd like to buy the young people a couple of bottles of lemonade every so often, to put in our stash of lemonade and things, or biscuits, do you know what that means? We don't have to take that money out of the youth budget, which means we can spend it on camping trips and stuff like that, where we can have even more impact on their lives. So just things like that, really simple. But the third way is actually giving up your time, being part of the team. So the team I've met so far, I think I've met everyone now, they are amazing people, but there's not many of them. And part of that is probably because, you know, there wasn't quite so much going on, because Joe did an amazing job, but Joe wasn't full-time and I am. So I kind of expected to do more, which is brilliant, but that means I need more people. Just like you, Helen, you have a huge team, but
Massive team.
You do so much, so you need more people. So we need people for everything we do. We need 2 adults to be there. So I'm saying I'm going to be at everything, because, you know, unless I'm dead or almost dead, I'll be there. But at the same time, we need then at least another person. Now, some people will be willing to just be there, and that's great, and I'm really thankful for people that will just be there, so we've got the adult-child ratio, so we can happen. But what we really need is not just people that will just be there, but people who are passionate and who are going to engage and who are going to get alongside the young people and really encourage them and challenge them and build them up to help them with their faith journey with finding Jesus. So if you've never served on the youth team, and you would like to serve on the youth team, or you think you might want to have a conversation about serving on the youth team, please get in touch. I always say to people, please assume no one else will offer. Please make that assumption that you are the only person that will offer. Don't assume everyone else will do it. Because at the end of the day, if everybody assumes someone else will do it, it won't happen. And it may be that we have a conversation, like I'm sure Helen would have with you, and it may be that we say, well, actually, it might not be the right setting for you, or you might not have quite the right patience for the Open Youth Club. But it may be that
I love that.
It may be that we can find you a role that you are still serving in the youth team, even if it's not maybe in exactly the role that you originally thought. So please have that conversation with me. Please buy them biscuits and healthy snacks as well, because some of them are healthy, and drinks and things to save it coming out of the youth budget, so we can spend that money on other things that really impact their lives. And what about you?
I was just going to add that you said right back at the beginning how lovely they all were. So I think that's a really big incentive.
Oh, they're amazing. Why would you not want to be there every week with them? Why? I mean, I could tell you stories about young people that you might prefer to be at home and not be hanging out with. But at the same time, when you get to know them, you get to know their stories and their hearts and what they've been through and where they are now. Actually, they are all amazing, and they're all incredible people, and they just need that love and that attention. So Helen, what about you? How can the church support you in what you're doing and what you're hoping to do in the future?
I'm going to keep this short, and I'm just going to ask people to pray. I am really blessed in that the church has supported me in an incredible way, that people have prayed and people have blessed me and people have given their time sacrificially to bless the families and to bless the community. So I feel I'm at a little bit of a crossroads where a few things are going to change. And I'm at a sort of crossroads where I'm seeking God and I'm saying, how do you want me to go to this next step? What do you want me to do? And so I want people to pray for me and to pray for vision and to pray to hear God's voice for going out into the community. And then I suppose the other thing I would ask of people is I would ask for people to be accepting of when the children stand up to lead. And I would ask people to be encouraging and supportive of their roles, and be glad that there are children there, and children who are, and youth there who are the church now and not just in the future. So I would ask for their support and their encouragement and their inspiration to carry on being amazing role models to the children and the youth. But most of all, I don't know if most of all, no, and I want prayer. People to pray for me and to seek God for me and to give me words if they get words, and to encourage me and say, this is what I feel God say.
Amazing.
So that has been really good talking, really good chatting today, hasn't it?
It has.
And what a wonderful opportunity we've been given.
It's,
and it's been really well behaved.
Basically, we've let everyone in on our normal extended staff meeting chat, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
This is what we normally end up doing when all the other staff go off Zoom. We normally have another hour to ourselves.
Yeah,
discussing what we're going to be doing,
haven't we? Yeah. And you know what? Like I said, I think we've been very well behaved, because we've got a few plans, haven't we? That
we have.
Maybe we haven't shared quite all our plans. But watch this space, because there's lots of great ones coming up, aren't there? It's exciting to work together.
It is. It's really exciting, and to hear how our visions overlap so much.
So very much, which is great. Yeah.
So thank you everybody for listening, watching. Just at least pressing play, even if you went off to make a cup of tea and left us waffling on for a while.
And they didn't make one for us.
Well, exactly. Where's the cake? But thank you guys for engaging and hearing out it. Our contact details are on the website if you haven't already got them. If there's anything else you want to know, you want to get involved, drop us a line, let us know, and we'll be in contact with you. But thank you so much. And just for Ian Sargentson.
For Ian Sargentson, we would like to wave goodbye.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. See you soon.
Bye. See you soon.